What the fresh hell is this? I groaned, looking at the instructions. Maybe there's something about this in the help menu. I mumbled, tapping the button. Oh, here's something. Recently, a new customer tier system has been added to the Cerber Feast app. This allows senior veteran riders to make deliveries for a more volatile clientele. The tiers are as follows. Tier 1, passive, poses little to no danger to the employee. Tier 2, irritable, possesses moderate danger to the employee, especially if provoked. Tier 3, aggressive, predatory, may actively attempt to harm or kill the employee without provocation. This is just Adeline taking a shit on me, isn't it? I said, glaring down at the words on the screen before flipping to my contacts and hitting the call button.
Hello, Jose.
Adeline, what the hell is this? I yelled into the phone.
Whatever do you mean?
She asked, feigning ignorance in that poisoned apple voice. This stupid tier thing! You did this to screw with me, didn't you?
Now, Jose, do you really think I would go through the trouble of adding an entirely new feature to the app and rounding up a whole new group of extra dangerous customers just to spite you? That would be so petty and malicious.
She answered calmly. Click. She's lying. I know it. I grumbled as I pedaled to the pickup destination. Before long, I found myself outside some kind of meat packing joint. As soon as I got there, some guy came out of the front door and threw something wrapped in a big plastic trash bag at my feet. What the? Hey, no! This thing looks like it weighs a ton! I yelled after the guy as he walked back inside. Reaching down, I tried to pick it up, but as soon as I touched it, I could feel the shape underneath. Whatever it was still had limbs. Oh god, this is a whole something, isn't it? I groaned. How the hell am I supposed to carry this stupid thing? I asked myself, scratching my head. Against all odds, I found some way to fix it to my delivery bag. So once that was done, I made sure to put a little extra air in my tires, and I was on my way. But to my dismay, I ended up in front of some kind of sewer entrance, or outlet. I'm not sure, but it was definitely sewery. Taking a deep breath and making sure I didn't chain my bike up this time for a hasty getaway, I grabbed the garbage bag and carried it with me into the opening. I walked deeper and deeper, my foot occasionally splashing into a puddle, the only noise other than my nervous breathing blowing past the flashlight I was holding in my mouth, and the rustling of the plastic bag in my arms. What am I supposed to be looking for? I said to myself as I continued further into the darkness. Then a deep bellow swept down the tunnel and into my ears. I froze in an instant, the flashlight almost falling out of my mouth from the jolt. Oh, that's not good, I whimpered as my knees began to tremble. Tick, tick, tick. The familiar ticking sounded in the distance as it got closer and closer, soon accompanied by the sound of heavy footsteps. Once the realization of what was coming dawned on me, I decided to throw the bag and run. But I couldn't. I was paralyzed. I couldn't so much as pick up my foot off the ground. Then, it ended the light, its eyes reflecting the beam back at me as white specks in the dark before I could make out the rest of its form. But you're dead, I whispered in terror as the words fell out of my mouth along with the light. Oh shit! I shouted, fumbling for the light in a panic as I dropped the heavy contents of the sack. By the time I picked the light back up and shined it down the tunnel, it was gone. That was all I needed. I wheeled around and dug my heels in, ready to sprint for dear life, but I didn't have time as the massive reptile creature slowly descended from the ceiling inches away from my face. The shock caused me to lose my footing and slip in one of the puddles. All I could think to do was go fetal and wait for whatever happened next. But when it didn't, I slowly opened my eyes, fumbling for the flashlight. As I whipped it around, trying to see which direction it went, I heard a low growl above me. I aimed the light at the ceiling to find the massive reptile peering down at me, its jaws dripping with saliva. But you're dead, I repeated a whimper.
Where am I now?
It asked. Its voice was calm and inquisitive, but still boomed and bellowed like a subwoofer, so much that I almost had to cover my ears. Like a whisper in an avalanche. You can talk? I stuttered.
I don't know. If I am dead, then perhaps not.
He said it in the same soft roar of a voice as it scaled down the side of the tunnel to where it was almost face to face with me. I just mean I saw your head and... I started to say.
It would seem you're under the impression that there are less of my species than would actually exist.
The thing's deep voice shaking my bones as it spoke. Or maybe it was just the terror in the idea that it might be playing with his food. What exactly are you then? I asked, slowly backing up and trying to stall for time as I looked for an escape path.
What a curious snack you are.
He said, crawling closer towards me.
What do you think I am?
How would I... Wait, that Hephaestus guy, he said something. You're, Draco Malfoy... Something or other, right?
At least you try. My species was created by Poseidon himself to serve his most devoted followers. We are a race of dragon, forced into servitude by our creator.
Oh, that kinda sucks. So, who do you serve? I asked, still trying to concoct an exit strategy.
My master died before me, so I have been freed. I am nobody's. I serve no one. Who do you serve?
Well, Adeline's my boss, and maybe my girlfriend too. They kinda run the show. Riz is pretty bossy sometimes too, I guess. Oh, and Hook. I pretty much do whatever he tells me to at this point, I answered in a strangely average conversational tone. I guess I serve a shitload of people at this point. So how do you afford to order food from Cerber? I got paid what I do every delivery. It's gonna cost you a fortune.
Are you suggesting I'm destitute?
Well, you live in a sewer pipe, I stupided.
Do I?
He asked, looking around the tunnel.
Follow me.
He added, grabbing one of the straps on my bag and dragging me deeper into the sewer, carrying a sack in the other hand like it was a Happy Meal. Oh no, a secondary location, I whined to myself. This is exactly what Bin warned us about. About a minute of dragging later, I could see a door in the distance. I could tell it was because there was a small line of light shining out from the bottom. Once we were there, the monster twisted the knob and pushed it open, revealing a lavish foyer. A crystal chandelier hanging from the ceiling. Suddenly, I felt my body come to a stop on the black marble floor. So I picked myself up and took in the surroundings. There were statues and paintings down both sides, and at the end forked into two separate hallways. How do you pull in this kind of cash flow? I asked in astonishment.
Once my master died and I was free, I was also free from the fog my mind was kept in. So I seized her assets for myself as recompense for my enslavement and retreated into the shadow. And I continue to expand those assets through various business ventures.
He continued as we walked. Soon we were walking into an office-like room with a sturdy-looking desk and a chair in the middle. Sitting on the desk was a black leather-bound folder, which he walked over to and closed before stashing it away on a shelf behind him. That's cool, I guess. Well, I guess I should probably be hitting old Dusty Trail. I owe Adeline an arm and a leg, so I need to make a lot of deliveries tonight.
What makes you so sure I intend to let you leave?
He asked with a sneer, standing between me and the exit.
How presumptuous of you.
Yes, it would be bad to eat the messenger if you want to keep having food delivered here. Maybe?
You're betting a lot on that, aren't you?
The beast of a reptile, I asked, leaning down to my height, its scales softly grinding against one another as he moved.
Well, lucky for you, you look too muscular. Makes for tough meat. Until next time.
I could not get out of that tunnel fast enough. Once I was finally out, I grabbed my phone to call Adeline, but before I could press the dial button, the Cerber app binged to complete the transaction. That's when I realized that the super elevated risk level only put me at around what I was making on the regular deliveries before I pissed Adeline off. So if I wanted to keep bringing in the bucks, I'd better have to stick to the danger zone. At least he's not a stingy tipper, I sighed, giving up and complaining to Adeline. Luckily, there weren't any more abnormally dangerous ones for the night, and I was able to just pitter around for most of the time and think about current events. It wasn't until I was on my way home that I got a text from Destiny. Coming to my dad's house, we're waiting there. Huh, that's weird, I said, mildly aggravated. So I turned around and headed to the manor. Once I got there, the usual 2 guards were waiting outside the entrance. One still with a cast on his arm from the assault. "How's the arm?" I asked as I walked to the front door. "Broken." He answered, opening the door for me to enter, but not saying anything else. I walked inside and was greeted by Jekyll, wheeling around the corner in my direction. "In the lounge," he said, pointing down the hall. "Great, that always means something good," I grumbled sarcastically, trying to keep up with Jekyll's long strides. "Who the bloody hell are you?" he asked once he entered the lounge and noticed Rissa sitting there in Julie's body. "Good lord, what happened to your face, woman?" he barked in alarm.
Jekyll! Could you not for once in your life?
Destiny growled at him, seeing the pained look on Rissa's face. "What?" he asked, confused look washing over his face.
That's Rissa, you insensitive ass. In Julie's body. Her and Jose are kind of having a rough time with the situation, so how about you shut up and stop making things worse?
Destiny scolded. "Who the hell's Julie now?"
Not Julie. Julie, stupid. The girl who got killed?
she shouted, pointing at the coin marking on my wrist.
So why am I here?
I interrupted, trying to end the spat. "There's a series of concerning deaths," the captain said, walking in behind us. "An assassination, to be more exact." He continued, walking over and picking up a chair for himself. "A Cerber driver was murdered, and it appears the killer used their account and vehicle to commit more murders. Before I leave, I would like to have this place in a stable order of affairs. So this cannot stand." Okay. But that still don't cover why I'm here. I feel like I shouldn't have to keep stressing this point, but... I just ride a bike, I tried to explain. "Yes, of course, but that's why you're so handy in this situation. All we need for you to do is to keep your eyes and ears open, then relay any unusual information back to us. This assassination can cause trouble. The victim was a government official, one of the few who are privy to the knowledge of the paranormal world, and he acts as a mediator between the paranormal and the government. He was also a strong advocate for the desegregation between the two worlds. That would, however, greatly upset the paranormal economy." "So you want me to spy for you? Again?" No, don't make it sound so dirty. Just survey the area for anything suspicious," he reassured me. "We're alerting the Dirty Work Inc. organization to the matter as well. They have their own rather effective ways of sorting the other issue." "You might be overly generous calling them an organization," I said as I made my way out of the room. "You okay?" I asked Rissa as we stood next to Destiny's car. "Jekyll did the same thing to me when, I said, gesturing to the scars across my face. "I'll be okay," she told me, opening the passenger side door and getting in. "Okay, well, did you guys ever get some food? Do you eat now?" I asked. "I am starting to feel a little hungry," she admitted, rubbing her stomach. "For normal food?" I asked nervously. "Not like..." "No, not brains, you ass." I stopped by a favorite Chinese place on the way home. Yeah, we all get the irony. Shut up. I told Destiny to go ahead and take her home, and I'd stop and get us something to eat on the way. She had mentioned once how much she loved that place, and what she always got when she was alive. So I decided to surprise her for her first meal since she died. On my way home after leaving the restaurant, I noticed a car's headlights coming up behind me, and in a moment, a chill ran down my back. The thought hit me like a ton of bricks. If this bike really is so special, what if someone figures out I have it? Are they going to try and kill me for it like they did Rissa? Managing to shake off the thought for a moment, I finally made it back to where Destiny's ridiculous pink hearse was waiting outside. Along with some kind of scene of absolute chaos unfolding in the gravel in the parking lot. What the hell? I whispered to myself as I rolled up on the side of Destiny, trying to pull Rissa off of Harley, who had both legs wrapped around her neck, squeezing as tight as she could, and spewing a torrent of profanity at her that would have had to set some kind of swears per minute record. So, what's going on over here? I asked casually, but cautiously to Destiny as I eased my way up to the squall.
I don't know! She saw Harley and flipped her shit! Help!
Help you what? You're like 10 times stronger than me! What am I going to be able to accomplish here that you can't? Honestly, I mean, she looks like she got that triangle lock in nice and strong, I said, trying to take in the whole spectacle. Oh wait. Okay, Rissa, she's changing colors, you need to let her go. Now! Alright, Dest, look out. Sleepy time. I told her, wrapping my arm around Rissa's neck and giving it a squeeze until she softened up enough to let off Harley.
You could have done that the whole time?
Destiny gasped. I forgot, actually. Something Hook taught me. Didn't think Rissa would be the first person I use it on, though. I mumbled under my breath. Hey, you alive? I asked Harley, poking her in the arm with the toe of my shoe. Once she groaned in response, I asked Destiny, which one?
I'll take Rissa. I'm not far off from doing the same thing she did,
she admitted, glaring at the half-conscious Harley. Hey, which one are you staying in? I asked, helping her get to her feet. Once I got done taking it to one of the dumpy apartments I was staying in when I first got there, I took off back to my place. Okay, so what the hell was that? I asked Rissa as I walked through the door.
I don't know. It just snapped when I saw her. I can't explain it,
she answered, seemingly embarrassed. Well, I don't guess you can blame anyone. Anyway, here, I told her, pulling her favorite food out the bag and sitting on the table in front of her. I could tell by the look on her face that she was already starting to cheer up. So, did you guys figure out anything before the Legion of Doom meeting? I asked.
No,
Destiny answered defeatedly.
Nothing,
she added, digging her mouth into the bag after a box of rice. I waited for her to open it and take a bite before I said it.
Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots. How do they taste?
You're not funny, she said, pursing her lips to hold back a grin.
That's a movie reference, isn't it?
Rissa asked, gnawing on a piece of chicken.
Oh my god, it's the best thing in the world,
she chirped, closing her eyes as she tasted the food for the first time in years.
Oh yeah, I brought some bed stuff over for her for the other bedroom so Rissa doesn't have to sleep on the couch anymore.
Destiny tried to say, but was interrupted by a knocking on the door. What now? I griped, dragging my feet over to the door. Somebody better be dead, I warned, turning the knob and snatching it open. My jaw almost bounced off the floor when I saw who it was. Oh, hey, Han. What are you doing here?